In episode 7, this episode of How to Fight with a Stick, we're going over tonfa. I'm going to give you some things to do. If you have a set of these, you want to get a set and work out. We're also going to work on the fan. We're going to work on the Joe. In this case, it's a Joe that I got from Home Depot for like $6. I'll show you how to get that. And we're going to work with the self-defense cane or the fighting cane, one of my favorite weapons. We're starting with the tonfa. We're going to have one in each hand, and you're just going to roll it around and back. In fighting or self-defense with a weapon like this, you have range, you have speed, and you have power. So you have range, speed, and power all with this fighting stick. In this case, the Japanese tonfa. And so I want you, or Okinawan, you can call it Okinawan. Okinawan is probably more accurate. But you're going to reach out and you snap it in. This is a warm-up. You're a little sticky. Haven't done this in a while. Tacky, maybe. You can always chalk your hands, get them to move faster. And this warm-up move, I'm doing it kind of high so you can see, but this warm-up move is going to allow you to get a feel for how it's going to move through your hands. So your hands are kind of closed and relaxed at the same time. So it's not like this, it'll come flying out of your hand. If you hit something, you're going to have it closed and relaxed at the same time. This knob right here in different styles or different sizes, but there's always a knob there, and that keeps it from coming out of your hand. And I wanted to show you the PR-24. Some of you have seen this already. That's the police self-defense baton, the one that they carry, and it's based on this. It's really the exact same thing, and it's longer, and so you can hit with the short side, right? You can strike that knob. It's very powerful. You can defend yourself with it. You can block with it. Someone is swinging something at you, and you're law enforcement, because you can't carry this if you're not law enforcement. Law enforcement protects that bone, all that flesh. The stick doesn't bleed, this bleeds. And then you have that longer distance. They have a weapon like a knife. You can now create distance. You can bring it through the legs. And this is made out of a really hard polymer, like a plastic, that doesn't break. I've had this since I was a military policeman in the Marine Corps. And I've used this. You can also carry it like a traditional stick, and they're very effective for self-defense. So this is based on these, and you can get a pair of these. You can train with these. I put a link below to the martial arts store if you need anything. But you warm up like this. This is your first move. Just warming up, working on that spin. And then the second thing that you're gonna do after you do a series of spins for about 30 seconds is practice just striking. And think of a straight punch. Just coming out, you're not gonna turn the hand like you would in a boxer's punch. Just coming straight out, kind of that Wing Chun, straight punch. And so from here, because you have this sticking forward, all that power from your arm, your shoulder, your upper body, because you're turning through the hips, your core muscles, your legs are pushing off the floor, create a lot of force. And that little tip right there. And you're aiming for self-defense for vital spots. You're aiming to take away their vision, take away their ability to breathe temporarily or permanently through the throat. And honestly, this hits so hard you could crush a skull. So you want to be very careful for self-defense only, right? So you're pushing through, and you're going to practice. Make sure that full extension. At the end, pushing hard, and practice all three heights. To the face for 30 seconds, and then go back to spinning for 30 seconds. And then into that solar plexus, not the bony sternum, but the solar plexus. Knock their wind out, you'll put them on the floor. They won't be able to catch their breath. For self-defense, it'll take them a minute. They don't pass out from the pain. And then into this part here, between the private parts and the belly button, that part there, that fascia or fascia, however you want to say it, that keeps your guts in, you're definitely going to the floor. In law enforcement, when I carried the PR-24 and I took the courses and I learned how to teach, that was an ideal spot for self-defense to strike. Go right in there. They're coming to punch you. You have this reach extension, and then you flip it around. That's your next spin. So from here, you're gonna flip it halfway and strike, bring it back. Flip it halfway and bring it back. halfway, halfway. And then always practice all your basic blocks. Think of this as, again, the stick doesn't bleed, stick doesn't bruise, stick doesn't break. The arm will though, the skin will, all your veins, all your tendons in there. You don't want to get those injured, so you defend yourself up. And think of like the angle of a Western roof so that it slides off. And there's also a twisting up motion, that spiral that we use in all stick fighting for self-defense. You spiral your stick so you don't break it. So you have upper blocks. And see this? From here, that means it comes this far over. A lot of times people do upper blocks and they over pull. Now I'm wide open. Make sure you stop in the middle. This arm, the bicep is almost touching your ear. The other hand comes clearly over here. So if you hit here, it slides down. And since I was 9, and I'm 49, so 40 years. Not just the tonfa. I probably picked the tonfa up. Well, I picked the tonfa up when I was 19 as a Marine, military policeman. I got the PR-24, and that's when I started. And ever since then, as soon as I learned it was based on the Japanese tonfa, the PR-24, I got a pair. So since I'm 19, I've been practicing up and out, and then across like a shield. Punches coming straight to your nose. You're gonna shield across. See that? Take that. You can strike. You can shield your body, come across, bring it back in, bring it back in, bring it through. So that's our first weapon. Yes, I've been really busy. It's good to see you again. Thank you for inviting me in this morning. Bring it across. This is the second set. And the basic rule, let this hit their weapon, their hand for self-defense, whatever they have, their knife, instead of this. That's not good, right? That cuts, that bruises, that breaks. Shield yourself with the tonfa, whether yours is wood or like you have the PR-24, the plastic one. And then learn how to, from here, go straight down. And for those of you who do traditional martial arts, you see that these are basically the same as the high block or the upper block, the turning wrist block, and the lower block with that elbow straight. So if you already know how to do those, you already good. Vic, I'm gonna be waiting for it. Be looking for it, excited. Bring it in, cross, bring it down, and then you should always try to put them together. The down block, the middle block. I almost did this kind of block. And can you block like this? Sure you can. You bring it to the outside of the hand and you do the outer wrist blocking motion this way. And then you're ready to strike. Block here, strike across. Block here, stop the attack, counter strike. And it's very hard and you've increased your reach. So this is one of my favorite stick fight for self-defense, stick fighting weapons, which is the Japanese are really the Okinawan tonfa. And you can practice it in, I think there's a Kung Fu version. Practice this first. Get really good at doing this. Practice coming up, coming across each time. You can switch. And that's just familiarization. That turns into striking low for self-defense, striking up, blocking with one, counter-striking with the other. Extremely effective, and probably you can't carry it everywhere. There's no way you can take this into a government building or school. Can't take this on in some places because they will see this immediately as a weapon, take it from you, or fine you, put you in jail, whatever your laws are where you are. But in this country, especially Canada, you say, hey, I'm going to karate class. I'm going to my kobudo class. I'm going to whatever. And that's why it's in my backpack. But it is an effective street fight self-defense weapon because of reach, increased speed. Means when you start spinning, you're going a lot faster. You can hit them faster than they can hit you. You have that reach to keep them back. Reach out and touch somebody for self-defense in the face. And then just power. And I mentioned this many times. The stick doesn't bleed. Defending yourself, right? Defending yourself in all these different ways. Oh, I forgot to mention that because people ask me that all the time. Can you turn it around and use that like a hammer? Of course, it's self-defense. You can use it any way you can imagine that works. Self-defense has to be immediate, direct, explosive, and it has to be practical. And if it doesn't work, you know, what are you doing it for, right? So thinking about, that's not to say all martial arts are self-defense either. You can do martial arts and do it just for fun, to improve your body, improve your mind, improve your strength. If you're looking for practical self-defense, look for that in a weapon like this. Let me grab the next weapon. And it's in no particular order. It's just how I have them laid out over there. This is the Kung Fu. Feels good after that. It's hot down here today. Kung Fu fighting fan. You'll see these in Japanese styles. The TV show like the Avatar. Some of you said the Avatar, and the Rukushin or whatever they're called. Someone correct me on that. I forget what they're called now. The fighters in the Naruto or something like that. I don't know what it is. One of those in the Avatar series. And you'll see them in like kabuki or the Japanese dance, and they go very slowly, and they're, you know, they pop it or whatever. I'm not a kabuki person, meaning that I don't know how to do it. I can appreciate it, but you also find them in Korean fan dance. That's how I got started in it. Not doing the fan dance myself, but I had martial arts school where we did a lot of different Asian arts. And one of them was dance, and the Korean dance. And I saw that, and I'm like, I got to get into that, but I want to use it like a weapon. And so I found somebody, started learning, and then realized right away, all it is a stick, right? When it's closed, it's very effective to do the same thing as the tonfa. Not as much reach, but I've got some reach from here to there. Stick doesn't bleed, right? Especially when it's closed. In this case, these spines, think of these as spines. These are made out of rattan. A lot of times people think bamboo, but it's actually rattan in this case. They're very strong, they're very durable. When they're together like your fingers, if you ever do martial arts and your fingers are open, they break by themselves. Always get your fingers together, whether you're blocking or striking, keep the fingers together. When they're together, they're flexible, they're strong. When they're apart, they snap very fast. Same thing with this. When it's together like this, you can now strike very quickly, jab, straight in, use the backhand to strike, and then you can block. You can block up, the punches come in your face, that hurt. Snap it out of the way. You want it to hurt, right? But like all the other weapons, there's a turning or a spiraling involved. See how I'm forcing my knuckles to turn into the self-defense attack, into the block? So you can strike here, come back, that jab right here to the temple. He's throwing the punch at you, he's got a knife coming at you, block, strike, block, strike, block, strike. So many things that you can do very quickly, right? And you can move as fast as your hands can move. And then opening it, it also has a unique feature that none of the other sticks that you use for self-defense has, which is that you now have range and coverage. You can block up, block down. And if you've ever seen like those Naruto shows, I'm sure they show these hard spines are now, remember that theory? This doesn't bleed, that all bleeds. So from here, you pop it open, you have the blocks, coming in, coming out. And then in some of the movies and some of the old styles, they have little blades on the end. Slice, very quickly slice, right? Down at an angle, close it, and then you're fighting again. It can. I wouldn't use it this way if they're slicing, especially with this one, because I think that wouldn't take much, especially if they come in full adrenaline, full power, to go through that and get to here, right? But this I would. And you ever try to cut through a phone book? I know we don't have phone books anymore, but cut through a book and all those pages independently, they're moving. Same thing here. So it's hard to slice through that. They might get through one or two, but unless they have like a super sharp weapon or whatever, it's better than nothing. That's the point. It's better than your fingers trying to block it, blocking it here, pushing it up, right? the strike is coming here, or it's coming straight in, and you push it up, and then just immediately strike and come back through. So it's self-defense using an improvised stick, because this is a fan, but when it's closed, it becomes a stick, so we call it improvised weapon, right? An improvised stick, you can walk around, it's very non-threatening. They don't assume it's a weapon unless they know. You close it, and then the key is here. I'm gonna show you how to use it. So if you get one, you can practice squeezing. Notice that I have some coming out of the bottom of my hand. Same reason I use the collie sticks, a Screama, Arnis, because I'm gonna strike with that. I'm going to strip a weapon with that part. I'm going to hit a nerve, right? I'm gonna pull you in with that part. And that's all I need, just a little bit. For pressure point, joint locks, right? Grabbing this way, strike, just throwing the punch, block, pull them in, get them closer. All those things that you'll learn how to do. This weapon, again, it's full martial art, full skill set with this, but you can learn the basics. You also will hold your hand on the bottom, because when you open it, you're then going to squeeze again. Both times, whether it's open or closed, you squeeze your fingers. See how my skin changes color, right? So I'm squeezing, that keeps it from closing. Well, it's gonna close a little bit, leverage, right? But for the most part, it's gonna stay open, and it's gonna stay in your hand. So your hands are in two different positions. One is here, with some sticking out. One is on the bottom. Now, if you get one of these, here's what I want you to practice first. Holding it this way, block and block. Point your knuckles, blocking, point your knuckles, blocking. So that turn, that basic turn is very important. Block first, block, block, push up, block, block, push over, turning and turning, and then down and out, and turning, and over and out. So practice your blocks, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter which way you go first, just be able to do both sides evenly and understand what you're doing. Punches coming in your face, you're pushing it up. Punches coming in your face, you're pushing it up. They're chopping down on your head, you're catching it, and you're gonna step out of the way. At the same time, you're gonna strike. So then you practice strike, and it's about the same as the collie stick. Striking through, striking up, striking horizontally, going straight down, and then practice jabbing. Jabbing with the back, 1, 2, into the ribs, into the thigh, right? Into the thigh or the groin. So it's the same angles, 1, 2, 3, just different heights, right? 3, 4, and then with this side, creating distance. Think about a hook punch to the head, right? Quick boxing hook punch. Striking here, or turn it over, strike here, strike the ribs, strike the leg, and then on the opposite side, your hand comes across your body, pushing across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But just make sure you do both sides. And then my favorite of all, the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I always mess that one up. But that's it. From here, back up, I'll defend myself. I look non-threatening. Everybody who's watching says that guy was trying to defend himself, the other guy kept coming. Or that woman was defending herself, the other other person, a group of them, they surrounded him. She had her hands up, she said, back up, I'll defend myself. And then just straight in, right between the eyes. And you can see, if nothing else, that disrupts your line of sight, making it hard for you, interrupting your pattern of thought, giving me an advantage. And then if I hit you with it, or even if you back up, then I can come here, stick that right there. For self-defense, ends the fight, right? Crush the windpipe. But it's real simple. From here, immediate, direct, explosive, like every other stick for self-defense, just straight in, and then you have all of these other things. Now, because you're gonna wanna do this is the first thing I wanted to learn, is how do they make that pop sound? Because that's like super cool, right? And I'm gonna show you right now. Your thumb goes on the spine. See how this side has no print? Put it on the non-printed side. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Oh, I just got a bunch of these in there, or in stock. These are hard to find online, but I have a whole bunch. If you want to buy one, go to pasquinelli.com, do the contact box there, send me a message. I want to get one of those. They're only 20 bucks, and plus whatever shipping is, but it won't be that much because they're super light and they're small. The long stuff, the big stuff is heavy, expensive to ship. But this won't cost much, and I'll get it to you. 20 bucks, and we'll figure out how you can pay me and how I can get it to you. If you want one. If not, just ignore that. All right, the thumb goes on this side. On the other side, your palm is right there, so it's halfway in the middle of your hand. Now, your first finger is gonna come on the inside, on the printed side. The thumb's on the outside, the finger's on the inside, so you're just pinching here, but it's also sitting in your palm. And all you're gonna do, these last 3 fingers, like most other stick weapons, get out of the way. And it opens, and you're gonna close it, and just let it do that for like a minute or two. Figure out how Naruto, that's it, and Avatar opens her fan, or his fan if it's the dude Avatar, I guess, or whatever it is. You know what I mean. All right, then you're gonna accelerate a little bit. In your hand, I don't watch a lot of cartoons, is what I'm trying to say. But I saw the movie, the live action movie, that was really cool. I liked it better than the new Mulan. I didn't really care for that as much. It was cool, Cinematically, beautiful or whatever, and a lot of controversy, but the Avatar, if you saw the Avatar movie from a couple years ago, that was really cool. All right, open, and I like the message better. Open, close. So you open your hand, then you turn your palm back to the sky, and it closes it. Turn your palm to the ground or to the side of your face, it opens it, so your hand's really, see how my arm is perpendicular to the ground, like a tree growing up, and then I turn my hand back, the arm doesn't move much, and then I just increase the speed. And at the end, make it a habit, those last 3 fingers I said get out of the way, those now squeeze to keep it open and locked. So from here, pop it. And it's not gonna pop like that the first couple times you do it, and you're gonna be frustrated. Don't quit, don't ever quit. Almost always, you'll almost always give up too soon. Ask Vic, Vic will tell you, don't ever quit. You're gonna get this faster than you realize. Practice it. Fan yourself off a little, high block, low block, blocking to the middle, blocking to the middle. Try some slicing motions, horizontally, diagonally, and then vertically up, down, whatever. Practice that, and I'll show you a couple forms that I do just with this. Awesome. I'm glad you got your fan. So this is how you practice. One more time. On the non-printed side, thumb, finger, palm, your arm is perpendicular, last 3 fingers open, and it opens. Palm up to the sky, shake it a little bit. This is old, closes. This one's over 20 years old, and it's still in great shape. Just speed it up. Once you get the pop you want, make it a habit to squeeze. Then you've got it. Practice everything else, practice like a regular stick. Striking angles, striking horizontally, striking vertically, and then jabbing with the back and jabbing with the front, the long side, right? Up, down over the top. Take it, here's a, take this part, stick it right there in that muscle process right there. And there's nerves in there, that'll make their arm go numb. Stick it there or come over the top like that. You can do that. That's a self-defense move for self-defense. Just practice these, practice your basic blocks. Turn your knuckle into the attack. Up, up, over, over, down across the body, back across the body. Practice with that. Let's move on to the next weapon. And that is the Japanese Joe. In this case, a $5. It was $4.99 in fact, and then it's had a couple of coats, probably less than a penny's worth of oil. And I've been using mineral oil on this one for the Joe staff. This is your warm-up. You're just doing your figure eight on the other side, and then practice striking. From me to you, I create distance. I point my thumb, it puts it in my back hand. Point my thumb, push. Point the thumb, push. Strike. Strike on the other side, right? I can bring it from here, bring it up. I can bring it, there's that straight in strike I like so much for self-defense. That's very effective. Hit him here, bring it back up and through the face. Now, part 2 of this video is gonna start in about 5 minutes, but I gotta answer the door real quick, so I'll see